on a Wednesday evening. Wanted to go live real quick just because I know that times are tough right now. There's a lot of people uh, losing work, a lot of people that are out of jobs. And I'm sure that a segment of the folks that are being hit with some of these financial hardships, I'm sure some of them are gamers, some of them might even be collectors. And so, anytime I can, make a video that just highlights certain games that are cheap but still pretty fun, I want to be able to do that and at least kind of shed some light on some of the cheaper games that, collectors might find fun. So I'm going to take you through some. I've got a stack of 5 games right here. Um, but there are more that I have that I can kind of go through with you all. But I just kind of wanted to go through this with everyone that might be tuning in. I don't expect a lot of people to join the live. It is a Wednesday night, work night, so usually people are fast asleep by this time. But I'm gonna take you guys through some games that I would recommend. These are games that are about 20 bucks and under. First up, we've got Naruto Ninja Council 3. Now, there are a few games on the DS that have some really good looking pixelated graphics, and I think Naruto is one of them. This is essentially a beat 'em up based on the popular Naruto anime. And I think if you are into like beat 'em ups, if you like, pixelated, 2D side scrollers, I think you'll really dig this one. And it's really not expensive at all. I'm pretty sure this game probably goes for between 10 and 15 bucks. This is one of the cheaper games, and you can get this in really good condition for not too bad. So this is definitely one that I want to throw out there. Gamer Nisha 39, what's going on, man? This is definitely one that I would throw out there to anyone who's just kind of looking. Maybe you want to add to your, your collection. Definitely, this is one that you might want to look at. Um, Everything cool? Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Just wanted to go live. Every once in a while, I'll do a random live and just talk to the community, connect with you all. Sometimes I like just, hearing what you all have to say, hearing the feedback. Sometimes when I drop a video, it's tough because I know you guys drop comments down below, but sometimes it's tough to always get back to the comments. So I kind of like this format because it allows me to kind of communicate with everyone in real time. All right, so next up we have another game here. So this is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. What's going on, Charles? You can find this really cheap, right? This is a complete in box copy of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 that I got during a 4 under 20 for 40, or I think a 4 under 10 for 20. So Sonic 2 is really like a $10 to $15 game on the Genesis. This is an amazing game. So many games have been patterned after the Sonic model. So this is definitely one that I would recommend if you're into the Sega Genesis. Super cheap, and you can get it complete in box. That's always a good look. If you're someone who's into 6th gen, you can't beat this game. Now, this game has been released way too many times. I mean, we got Shadow of the Colossus on the PlayStation 2, the PlayStation 3, and the PlayStation 4. I'm surprised there isn't a PlayStation 5 version. But all that being said, the cheapest way to get this game, in my opinion, would be to get the PlayStation 2 version. And I'm pretty sure the greatest hits version is even cheaper. This is like a $10 to $12 game. And so if you're someone who's trying to cut costs, you're trying to save money, you don't want to spend a lot of money, but you still want to add games to the collection, Shadow of the Colossus is an amazing game. It's many people's favorite game. This is in my opinion, out of all the PlayStation 2 games I've played, this is the most open world type of game that I've played on the PlayStation 2. It truly feels open. Um, it's just so expansive. The boss battles are just gargantuan. I mean, if you think about it, Shadow of the Colossus is really kind of like just a boss rush game, really. You're fighting one boss after the other. Yeah, there might be some things you gotta, you have like the little wayfinder thing that points you in the right direction. Um, but ultimately, it's really an amazing game. So again, for for $10 to $15. This is a great steal that you got to get. What's going on, Scar? Yeah, they did release it for the PlayStation 4. That's right. Two, three, four. I just don't know if they did for the 5. I don't think they released it for the PlayStation 5. We have another PlayStation 2 game here. So Teen Titans. Teen Titans is supremely underrated in my opinion. This is a game that so you can find Teen Titans for around 15 bucks. However, this might be one of the more expensive games in this bunch, because like a good, clean, complete copy of Teen Titans might run above $20. It might run maybe 20, between 25 maybe and $30, but you can find, I'm sure there are copies out there that aren't too expensive. I'm pretty sure the PlayStation 2 version is probably the cheapest version of this game to get, because I know on the Xbox, the original Xbox, Teen Titans is $100. Like, I don't know why the heck this game is so expensive on the original Xbox as compared to like the GameCube or the PlayStation 2. But I'm pretty sure the PlayStation 2 is the cheapest way to get this game. So, and it's great, right? It's a multiplayer beat 'em up, beat 'em up game with, collectible elements that enhance your abilities. It's based on a famous cartoon that was really big during the early 2000s. So again, if you don't want to spend a lot of money, this is another cheap one that I think you can really get a lot of good playtime out of. For some odd reason, the PS4 Shadow of Colossus is cheaper than the PS2 Complete. Is it? I didn't realize that. I did not realize that. Yeah. Oh, so the Xbox version is really rare. Okay, so then that explains it. Yeah, I have never understood why the Xbox version of Teen Titans is so ridiculously expensive. It just doesn't make sense. Um, the two tones. What's going on? Oh, you just repaired your PS2. Nice, nice. We need the Dreamcast beat 'em up. I think Marvel is coming out with their beat 'em up. Oh, you mean the DC beat 'em up? Oh yeah, so that's the Marvel Cosmic Invasion. I think that's the Marvel beat 'em up. That thing looks sick. I know that there were some test copies that were given out. That game looks really sick. Even got a FMCB card. Nice. Objectively the best graphics too for Teen Titans. Oh, you is that the PlayStation 2, Charles? Are you saying the PlayStation 2 has the best graphics for Teen Titans? Because I haven't seen the GameCube graphics. I've seen PlayStation 2 and maybe Xbox. I don't know if I've seen um any other ones. Okay, and last game on this list, I guess there's other games that I could point out, but the original Ninja Gaiden on the Xbox is still a great game, a very fun game, and it's also a very cheap game. This is like a $10 to $12 game as well. And you don't got to spend a lot of money. You can get this game complete in box. It's a very good game. I think they just came out with Ninja Gaiden 4 and the PlayStation 5, so this is a franchise that is very much alive and kicking. I don't know what kind of reviews Ninja Gaiden 4 has received so far. I know it's very new. But I mean, boom, you can kind of just get it right here on the Xbox, one of the original versions of the game, and not spend a lot of money. That's the main thing, is like not having to spend a lot of money to play decent games is kind of where I think we're going, with where the economy is at right now. It's just a very tough time. And so anytime you can get quality games for cheap, then I recommend going for it. All of these games are under 20 bucks. And I really try to give you like a variety between the DS, the Sega Genesis, and the Xbox. But maybe you're like a PlayStation 1 person and maybe you're really trying to collect PlayStation 1 games. This is another game that I think is really kind of underrated. C12 Final Resistance. This is kind of like an open world run and gun shooter on the PlayStation 1, believe it or not. Not the best graphics, not the best music, but it does give you very much that kind of dystopian, burnt down city vibe. It's a cool one. Some of you may have played this before, but I think C12 is pretty cool. Let me see. Right now, many Xbox One/Series X physicals is getting pricey. The Lies of P for Xbox One is hitting 100, while it's cheaper on the PS4 and PS5. I've heard of that game. Easy Gamers keeps telling me about that game, and I still haven't gotten it yet. Red Fox Salve, did you steal that game? Which game? Did I steal which game? I remember playing Tenchu Z, Stealth something, can't remember the whole name. Tenchu Z, that sounds, I think that came out on the Xbox 360 if I'm not mistaken. You should get Ninja Gaiden Black. This game is sick. I do have Ninja Gaiden Black. I've got a couple copies of Ninja Gaiden Black. I think I have an extra copy that I've been meaning to get rid of. Yeah. The two tones. I used to be against greatest hits, but lately games are getting harder to find, so I put aside my judgment of the greatest hits. I mean, yeah. I mean, look. You say you got to do what you got to do, right? Just so you can have the game. Look, I get it. Warlord 626, you have a lot of games. I have too many games. I really want to downsize some more and curate some more. I don't need all the games I have in my collection, so I definitely want to downsize. Womberti, I think is what that is. He says the good thing about that Ninja Gaiden is that it has all the original trilogy on there. They cut that out of the black for some reason. Oh, I didn't know that. Is that so, you say? It has all the original trilogy? Let's see. Let's see. Sorry, that glare is pretty crazy. Yeah, this is a really cool one. I mean, and this is my only copy of this game. I've toyed with keeping it many a time, but I've kind of put it on the chopping block. Put it on the chopping block. Let's see. Warlord 626. Do you have Primal for PS2? I don't. I think I used to have that game and then I got rid of it because the copy that I had was pretty bad. Some game you can only for greatest hits. Virtua Fighter 4, Evo is 1, Devil May Cry 3, SE is the only game that came out greatest hits. I didn't realize that. My biggest collection is for my PS3. I have about 58 games. I sold a humongous chunk of my PS3 collection over the summer, man. Got rid of so many PS3 games. It's not even funny. Oh, here's another game that's pretty cheap that you guys might know about. Batman Vengeance. Not the most fun Batman game at all, but it's cool. I mean, if you grew up in the era of like the WB and you watched the Batman the animated series, um, then you know you'll definitely remember this one. This one will hit pretty good. All the Call of Duty, GTA V for the Assassin's Creed series, etc. Oh, we got a super chat from Kim. Thank you. I appreciate it. I always tell you guys don't have to super chat me. I will read your comments regardless of if you super chat or not. But I appreciate the super chat. And Kim asks, all day, every day, Kim, Y2K, why don't you collect for PS4? Okay. So I don't collect for PS4 because you know, like as I started to so there was a point in my collecting where I was only collecting like Gen 4, 5, and 6. And then I got a Switch and I started collecting for the Switch. And then Christmas of like 2021 or 2022, I got a PlayStation 4. And I was collecting for the Switch and for the PlayStation 4. And it got to a point where it was like, well, based on the types of games that I actually like, um, a lot of the games that I would get for the PlayStation 4, in my mind, I was like, well, I might as well just get it on the Switch because I knew I'd probably wind up playing the Switch version first because it's just easier to grab the Switch handheld and just play a game for a little bit than play the PlayStation 4. But there were some PlayStation 4 original games that I was really into, like Gravity Rush 2 and Fist of the North Star. And just a few like PlayStation 4 original games that I really like wanted to play. But around like 2023, 2024ish, it just started to feel like both the Switch and the PlayStation 4 were becoming a black hole for me. Like I felt like there were so many games that I wanted, between AAA titles, limited run games, super rare games, like so many different like publishers just publishing stuff that it just kind of started to get overwhelming, especially with the Switch. Like I was talking to someone at a play and trade event over the weekend and I was just telling them like how the Switch can really feel like a black hole. Cause like every time you think you've gotten like all the games you want, you see like damn, they're releasing like five more games than you really want them. Like right now, I can think of at least a few games that I want to get. I think somebody mentioned it on this live. Marvel Cosmic Invasion. That's one that I want to get. Terminator 2D, No Fate. That's another one that I want to get. Eartheon. That's another one that I want to get, right? So like it's so easy to get sucked into that black hole of like the PlayStation 4 and the Switch that I just told myself, all right, I'm gonna not collect for the PlayStation 4 anymore. And I don't really buy a ton of games for the Switch. I've gotten a few games for the Switch. I've recently gotten back a few games for the Switch, but I really just have been really reverting back to Gen 6 and older because I genuinely believe that we are going to soon get to a point where we're no longer going to be calling like Genesis games retro. Like you can't call a Genesis game retro and then also call a Xbox 360 game retro. There has to be some delineation between these two generations. I mean, there is a humongous difference in technology between fourth gen and seventh gen. And so what I think is going to happen is I think we're going to get to a point where uh maybe like Gen 4 and older, or maybe even Gen 5 and older, we're going to start to consider those generations vintage or antique video games. I think that's what's going to happen. And then maybe between like if it's a console, like there has to be a cutoff point. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe if it's come out within the last 20 years, you could consider it retro, but if it's like 20 years and older, then it's like vintage or antique. I think that's the point that we're going to have to get to with these games. And for me, I'm never going to go, I think, older than the Gen 3, just because nothing before Gen 3 really speaks to me. Like I have no nostalgic ties or connections to anything beyond the Nintendo generation. Um and for me, like the glory days of gaming kind of stopped at Gen 6 for me. Like yes, I had a PS3 when it first came out. I used to play a ton of Dynasty Warriors. I used to play a ton of Marvel Ultimate Alliance, but you know, for me, the real glory days, and by glory days, I mean the days where I didn't have all the responsibilities that of an adult, and I could just sit and play games for hours and hours and hours. That kind of ended for me with the sixth generation, like PlayStation 2, Xbox, GameCube, Dreamcast. You know, that's why the Dreamcast is still to this day one of my favorite, if not my favorite system. That's the logo for my channel, the Dreamcast. So it's a picture of a Dreamcast. So that was a really long-winded answer, but you super chatted me, so I felt like I owed you that. But that's the long reason why I don't kind of collect for PlayStation 4. I kind of just want to concentrate on between Gen 3 and Gen 6. And I feel like there's a lot of good stuff in those one, two, three, four, five. Is that five generations? Three, four, five, six, four generations. In those four generations, there's so much goodness between 2D goodness and like early 3D goodness that I think I'm okay with that. I think once I've kind of satisfied and gotten all the games, and that's not just with like consoles, by the way, between Gen 3 and 6, that's also like handheld. So, like the original Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, you know, things like that. I want to really kind of hone in on that. Let's see. Games are still being released. The whole set isn't out yet. PS4 is still mainstream. Yeah, it's still a modern console. Recently, the Vita exclusive Hyperdimension Neptunia Rebirth 1 to 3 got a re-release for the PS4. It came out a couple days ago. I didn't realize that. Hyperdimension, do I have that? I feel like that's something I might have had. Let me see here. I remember Marvel Alliance game for PS2. Yeah, yeah. I mean, good stuff. Patrick Patrick Cesnari, I think that's how you say it. Hey, what's going on, Patrick? How you doing? The two tones, classic, retro, and new. I mean, yeah, I guess you could call. I guess those could be three categories, like classic video games, retro video games, and new. It goes from classic game to retro game to new game. I mean, I could see that. I mean, regardless of what they call it, they're gonna have to start separating these generations. You can't put Gen 4 and Gen 7 in the same bucket anymore. That's just me. I think they need to be separated. It may call game over 40 years. It may call any game over 40 years considered vintage video gaming. 70 plus years will be considered antique. Yeah, I mean, so how old are how far back are we now? So what the Nintendo was the 80s, the mid to late 80s. So that's 40 years now. I mean, see, 88, 98, 2008, 2018. Yeah, in a couple of years, the NES is definitely going to be at least vintage. I mean, it's going to be vintage for sure. Two tones. My brother gets mad at me because I still talk about the PS2 when I have a PS5. Yeah, what original franchises from PlayStation have been released in the last 3 or 4 years or 5 years? I want to say the last original like franchise that I played that has really wowed me was probably Ghost of Tsushima. Now they have Ghost of Yote. So, but a lot of the stuff that we play today is just regurgitations of stuff that came out in the 90s or in the early 2000s. God bless my brother. Keep up the great work. That's Mr. East Tex 24, aka No Name. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Heroin Dragona. Do we love Trump chat? No, this isn't a political chat. I think you've wandered into the wrong chat. We don't do the politics over here. Classic 90s, 30 years ago, God of War Ragnarok. That was a tight game. Yeah, God of War. The God of War games are pretty good. The God of War games, but I mean, think about that. Even if you think about God of War, where did it originate? PS2. You know what I mean? Like its roots still go back to the PlayStation 2. So it's there's other okay, Tomb Raider. I hear you on that, but Tomb Raider goes back to the PlayStation 1. I mean, the roots, you know what I mean? I'm talking about the birth of a new franchise, where did a new franchise get its birth? Like that's kind of one of the reasons why when I first saw Stellar Blade get released on the PlayStation 5, I was like, okay, I need to get that because that looks dope. It looks original and that's like, that's something dope and it's original. Although I know there was a lot of controversy over the main character and how she was dressed. I think they had to like add like updates to change the way she was dressed. That was kind of controversial for a while. Nothing new. Last new franchise they made was Horizon. Yeah, okay. Yep, in the DLC he meets his PS2 counterpart. Oh, I didn't even know that. Dang, that's pretty dope. Astrobot. Okay, Astrobot. That is original. But I thought there was an Astro. No, I'm thinking Astro Boy. Okay, so Astrobot is original. I'll give you that. Oh yeah, I forgot Stellar Blade. That was probably the latest one. Yeah, Stellar Blade was dope, man. Stellar Blade is dope, I should say. And it's crazy because those are the only two games I have on the PlayStation 5. Stellar Blade and Astrobot. Those are the only two PlayStation 5 games I have in my collection. Basically, he meets his younger self as a self-reflection kind of thing. Oh, that's pretty dope. That's pretty dope, man. I would love to see more of that, man. I would love to see more of that in like these modern games. Like imagine if they came out with a Shadow of the Colossus 2, right? And the main character found himself back in that I don't even know what you call that first main building where you start the game off at, where there's like that really like dark fountain like in the middle of the room. Imagine if they did a re-release and like he finds himself back in that room and out of that dark fountain emerges like his PlayStation 2 self. That would be so Black Mirror-ish, but it would be sick. It'd be ominous. It'd be dope. And then he hears like the voices of all the demons in the temple, like telling him where to go. It'd be crazy. Um, I heard Toshinden 1, 2, and 3 is getting a remaster. Like, you talking about Battle Arena Toshinden? Like the fighting game? The 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 original Battle Arena? Because I remember Battle Arena Toshinden, man. Man, I remember playing Battle Arena Toshinden on the Game Boy. I used to play that game so much. I used to play as Rungo all the time. used to play as Rungo and just is Rungo the dude with the bat? I think Rungo is the dude with like the big bat. I used to play as him. Man, I used to kill that thing. They should combine all the worlds from the studio. Eco, Shadow the Colossus, The Last Guardian. Yeah, that would be cool. Be ominous as hell. It'd be cool. How y'all feel about the rename and remake of Halo Combat Evolved? Honestly, I've got no feelings on it because I don't do first person shooters. I've never been a first person shooter guy. Last first person shooter game I played was GoldenEye, and that was back when GoldenEye first came out. Yes, Battle Arena Toshinden 1, 2, and 3 is getting a re-release. News came out 2 days ago. Dang, I didn't know that. But how many people are gonna care? Will people still care about Battle Arena? Like I care about it, but I don't know how many people care. What do you think about Little Samson getting a re-release? Little Samson? It's not gonna do anything to the price of the original game. I can tell you that. It's not gonna do anything up to. I don't think it's gonna do anything to the price of the NES cartridge. And now again, Little Samson is another one of those games. Do people really care? Like, do they care? How many people care? Like, how many of you guys would care if they re-release Little Samson? I don't know if I would care. I'm not a Little Samson head like that. Like, that's just my opinion. But look, I just wanted to jump on here real quick, show you guys some games that you can get for cheap. Um, just trying to keep it balanced. Hopefully, all you guys are doing well in your jobs. I know there's a lot of layoffs happening, and the holiday seasons are coming up. So hopefully, all you guys are able to stay gainfully employed. Hopefully, none of these layoffs and rifts happen at your workplace of employment. And I will catch you all in the next one. It's the Y2K Collector. You guys have a great night and rest of your week. Take it easy.